Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, Star Wars The Acolyte Episode 4 is out, and of course the haters and the trolls and the chuds are absolutely tearing it apart because, of course, that's their brand, that's what they do. Are there some real criticisms of this show? I don't know, I wouldn't be able to find them because all we get is the hate and the trolling and the ridiculousness. I mean, I listened to a few videos and I couldn't hear any real criticisms. I heard some really stupid criticisms of the show, particularly like the last episode and this episode. Like that the choreography of the witches was bad, like people would know how a Jedi witch would dance. It's a tad bit ridiculous. I mean, it's subjective at least. And they were saying there was issues with space distance where someone had to travel somewhere and they came back and it only took like 5 minutes on screen or something. And I'm like, do these people not understand time cuts and how changing to a scene can move time forward, so you don't have to have a captain's log saying, well, it's been 24 hours since so-and-so went to whatever quadrant. I mean, that's just stupid. And then, my God, do we need to talk about Kai Adai Mondo, where his name is? I mean, my God. 20 years ago, someone wrote a DVD-ROM or something where they basically wrote bios for these characters that were in episode 1, and they mentioned the birth of the birth date of this, birth year of this character. So now everyone's like, oh, no, he can't be born yet. I'm like, that's not canon. That's something someone wrote in a DVD-ROM 20 years ago. I get that people invested in the expanded universe back in the day, but it was never canon. George always reserved the right to just ignore any of it. He let it happen, and he made money out of it, but, you know, what happens on screen is Star Wars. The other stuff, the novels, the CD-ROMs, the books, you know, the comics, you know, even the animated cartoons don't matter to canon. Like, they don't adhere to that. So stop expecting them to and having a fit and a tantrum when they don't. Now, I know I have my criticisms with Star Trek, but it's a little bit different with Star Trek. They didn't just mess with a couple little, that's the funny thing. They didn't just mess with a couple little things. Like, Star Wars fans, they don't actually get how good they have it. I mean, they're upset because people seem to think that they mentioned the Sith when the Sith was supposed to be extinct and not exist at that moment or something. And it's like, they didn't mention the Sith. They assumed it was another Jedi or some sect of the Jedi movement or something. They didn't even say that, but they're thinking it's the Sith and projecting it. Like, they shouldn't have the Sith in this. I'm like, Jesus. God, what else? Well, the only real criticism that I found about the show was that a child went to an adult. A child character went to an adult character in really a short period of time, and people didn't really get time to connect with the adult version of that character, and they just sort of were supposed to assume that that person is just the exact same person but older, and that was the only real criticism that I found of the show, that they had trouble identifying and connecting with the new adult version of that child character. And then there's also just, there are artistic reasons why characters do things, and because certain people think that their view of the world is the only way things can be, if someone does something they wouldn't do, or they don't relate to, or they don't identify with, then that's wrong or stupid and bad writing, which is just dog whistles for just anything they don't like or find to be conservative or just not, you know, reflecting them back to themselves. But yeah, so it's just predictable. It's just lame. It's just embarrassing. I mean, I can't even respect these people for having like a job doing this, because it's just a grift and it's just cringe. And I mean, none of the shows I've ever seen criticized, like Batwoman, God, what are some of the other ones? The Mandalorian, just anything that gets produced that they don't like. Even Star Trek Discovery and the new Trek shows, if you're an objective person and not a Star Trek person and just viewing it objectively, they're good shows. Like, they're not bad. They just are not Star Trek. That's why I don't like them. But these people who think because they have a particular angle and representation and diversity and emotionalism and humanity, you know, people just hate them. And it's just like all the Disney stuff. They hate it no matter what. So there was no way this Disney show with women and, you know, witches or whatever, Jedi witches, there was no way they were going to like this no matter how great it was. There was no way that's, you know, that's their brand, that's their product, that's what they were going to do. And just, it's lame, it's predictable, and what I don't understand is why people pretend like they don't know that this is the deal and this is what it is. It's just, I had to comment on it because it's just driving me a bit nuts. And no, I haven't watched a single episode of The Acolyte. Like I said, I don't need to see it to know that it's a competent show at best. It may even be good. Some people like it. So if they like it, something works, it has some value. The people who don't like it, doesn't mean it's bad, it just means they don't like it. That's their issue. And usually it's something stupid that they don't like it because it's woke or it's got too many whammon in it or whatever. You know, we've heard it all before. And I'm over 5 minutes, so I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comments,